I know you guys will find this one interesting to say the least. So there's an article called "The U.S. is Moving Backwards. Female genital mutilation ruling a blow to girls at risk." And it's all the way from 2018. No, I'm pretty late to the party, but it's just one of those topics that gets glossed over pretty easily. I'm sure most people haven't really read this article. So campaigners say ruling will affect tens of thousands of girls and could turn the 23 U.S. states that do not have anti-FGM laws into destination states for cutting. So a historic ruling that declared unconstitutional a U.S. law banning female genital cutting and dropped key charges against practitioners was an outrageous blow to the rights of tens of thousands of girls at risk of the abuse, according to campaigners. U.S. District Judge Bernard Friedman in Michigan ruled on Tuesday that Congress lacked authority under the Commerce Clause of the U.S. Constitution to adopt the 1996 law, and that the power to outlaw female genital cutting lay with the individual states. As despicable as this practice may be, it is essentially a criminal assault, Friedman wrote. In a ruling late on Tuesday, Congress had overstepped its bounds by legislating to prohibit FGC, as it had no demonstrated effect on interstate commerce. He said, "The decision in the first federal case to involve FGC dismissed the main charges in a case against Jumiana Nagarwala, a doctor who performed the procedure on 9 girls aged 7 to 13 from Michigan, Illinois, and Minnesota at another doctor's clinic in Livonia, on the outskirts of Detroit. The prosecution said she may have performed the procedure on as many as 100 girls. 4 of the 8 defendants, including 3 of the 4 mothers accused of subjecting their daughters to the procedure, were dismissed in the case. The defendants are members of a small Muslim Dawoodi Bohra community. The doctors face lengthy prison sentences on conspiracy charges. While the rest of the world is moving forward on FGC, the U.S. is moving backwards. Shelby Quast, an American director of the International Campaign Group for Women's and Girls' Rights, Equality Now, told The Guardian on Wednesday. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney in Detroit said the government would review the ruling before deciding on whether to appeal. FGC is a common practice among many northern and southern African countries, but it is banned on criminalized by at least 59 countries and several international treaties. It is considered a human rights violation by the World Health Organization. It typically involves the partial or total removal of the clitoris and is used to control the sexuality of women and girls. Campaigners said the ruling dealt a heavy blow to the rights of women and girls and could effectively turn the 23 U.S. states that do not have anti-FGM laws into destination states for cutting. They say it will affect tens of thousands of girls at risk of the abuse across the U.S., A study by the Centers for Disease Prevention and Control estimated that 513,000 women and girls across the U.S. were at risk or have been subjected to FTC. International campaign group Equality Now described the ruling as a federal blessing on FTC. Quat said, "What it really shows is that girls are not being prioritized. I have had numerous calls from survivors groups with people in tears. The message to women and girls is that when survivors are finally coming forward, sharing their stories, they are being completely disregarded. While the rest of the world is moving forward on FGM, the U.S. is moving backwards." Quast said she believes the decision would be appealed. "This is at the lowest level of the federal court, and I don't believe it is a final decision. We expect the government will make the decision to appeal. This is a protection issue and requires the involvement of the federal authorities." Anti-FGM advocacy groups, Equality Now, We Speak Out, Shahio, and Safe Hands for Girls have previously filed an amicus brief in support of the federal government. Michigan passed a law to criminalize the practice in 2017, following the start of the case. But the law is not retrospective, and Nagarwal and others cannot be tried for past alleged offenses. Amanda Parker, senior director at the women's rights organization AHA Foundation, said, "This is outrageous. It's taken years for whistleblowers, police, FBI, and attorneys to work together to bring this to court. Dropping the charge is a real blow to the human rights of women and girls in the United States." Parker said it could mean girls could be taken to states where FGC is not illegal. For example, if a perpetrator risks life imprisonment in Minnesota where FGC laws are in place, why would they not have girls trafficked across state lines to mutilate them? That's exactly how we got here. The defendants in this case had the victims shipped from Minnesota to Michigan, and the only way of holding them accountable for FTC was the federal statute. She said judges regularly prosecute assault and other forms of mutilation at the federal level, but prosecuting those who cut little girls is not a priority for this court. Mariah Teher, an FGM survivor and co-founder and U.S. Executive Director of campaigning group Sahil, said she was shocked when she heard the judge's decision, which she said would be twisted into a message by communities who practice it that FGM should continue. She has described the practice as gender and cultural violence. There are people who are struggling to stand up to the pressure of family members not to undergo this procedure. The judge referred to FGC as a terrible crime, but the technicality of jurisdiction will be ignored here, and the message will be that it's okay to continue with this practice. So I guess that's the whole article, and I hope you enjoyed it. Just goes to show, well, also in Israel, there are people saying, well, you should either make female gel cutting legal or make male gel cutting illegal. I mean, I think in just about every country that is that has criminalized the practice of female genital cutting. They cannot do it to male genital cutting. I mean, they want to. I think the government is in favor of making male genital cutting criminalized, just like female genital cutting, but like there's too many, I guess, religious interest groups that, I guess, both Muslims and Jews are against it, and of course, with FGM, it's only Muslims you have to worry about, but so wow, 23 states it's still legal to do this to little girls, I think. That's pretty awful. Yeah, I think FGM is also, or female circumcision is also really really terrible, but I don't know, in the name of tradition, that is the main reason given for male genital cutting. The practitioners just say, well, it's tradition, it's been done for thousands of years, and it's whatever. So I hope you got something out of this. Thanks for watching.